Do you want to have a constructive conversation that does not lead to conflict? Well, if that is you, stay tuned. We're going to give you 7 ways you can close the conflict loop in your relationship. Hey everyone, welcome to the Home to Haven podcast. We're so excited, so grateful you've tuned in today. We are here to give you faith-based content. No, why are we here? We are here. What are we here for?
Yeah, we're here for that. We have faith-based content for your relationship and to communicate well, build up your home into a haven.
That's what we do. It's really late. We've been recording all day, and so doesn't give an excuse. But yes, we are here. This is your home for faith-based content to help you communicate better in your relationships. We are continuing our discussion.
We are
about constructive criticism or feedback and how that can not lead to conflict.
That's right. So if you listen to last episode, you would hear that we switched that word constructive criticism to constructive feedback.
Yeah.
If you missed that episode, definitely check that out after you get done with this one or
That's
before,
right.
Either way. And we're going to continue our list. We had 7 things that you can do to be able to give your partner constructive feedback without leading to conflict, huge arguments, things like that.
So, number 1.
All right. Number 1, we are going to establish a foundation of love and respect. So we need to set the tone. We need to set that foundation first and foremost. Without the trust there, it's not going to go well, whatever words come out of your mouth.
Yep. So if you've listened to an episode before, you've probably heard this, but we always want to say, hey, I'm on your side. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm your fan.
Mm-hmm.
And so this conversation really is to get us to a more healthy place and to help us grow.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a bashing session.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a,
Yep.
atomic bomb blow up. So establishing boundaries and setting the tone will go a long way in expectations for any kind of feedback you need to give to your partner.
That's right. Now, number 2, we need to choose the right timing and the setting. So
Yep.
You should be able to talk to your partner about anything and everything, but it's not always the right time to do that. So it's really important to figure out when is the right time to do that, what the right setting is. Make sure you don't have all those distractions going on. You're not highly emotional at that moment, right? Both of you are in a good place to actually have that conversation, to both listen and receive that constructive feedback that you have or the other person has to give.
All right. Number 3 is to use I statements. Now, this is something that can be very difficult. It takes practice.
Okay.
But we want to, instead of saying, you're not doing this, or you did this, you made me feel this way, you forgot this, we want to turn that around and say, I feel this way, or I heard you say this, or I heard this said.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Right.
And we are owning responsibility instead of putting blame or saying you and putting our partner on the defensive. We don't want to pow, go tit for tat in conversation. We want to use I language.
That's right. So for an example, instead of saying, you never listen to me.
Yeah.
You
never. What do you mean I never listen to you, right? And here we go.
And you, right? So we're going to use the word I. So I feel unheard sometimes when you do X, Y, Z.
Right.
No, is there another way that you could respond where, I do feel like you're listening? So that would be an I statement example that you want to be using for those conversations.
Yeah. I feel unheard versus you never listen to me.
Right. Now, number 4, you really want to focus on the specific behaviors that you're seeing from your partner versus attacking their character.
Okay.
So
Tell me more about that.
So you're going to guide the conversation to be focused on whatever you're giving that feedback from, the behavior that you saw in your partner versus like, you are so messy.
Okay.
You are
Gotcha.
never tidy. You have no regard to the way we live versus I noticed that you've been leaving dishes in the sink. Can we work on that because it's creating a mess, when I'm trying to cook?
Right.
So I'm going to be addressing that specific behavior that I would like to maybe alter versus you're this, and this.
Right. You're so jealous.
You're a terrible person.
Yeah. You're so jealous.
Right.
You never listen. You're uncaring. You don't care. You don't care about me.
Yeah. And you should be able to give them specific examples.
Right. Because typically they will say, what are you talking about?
Right. Well,
Name a time. Right, yeah.
You're just like that all the time. You need to provide them with specific things because otherwise you're just coming across attacking their character, who they are, or who they think they are, right? Instead of trying to help with a specific, situation behavior that you're trying to give constructive feedback to.
Right. And then hopefully, because I could see this where you're like, well, you remember last Tuesday? Oh, there you go again. Always bringing up stuff I did in the past.
Okay.
Well, you asked me for a particular example.
Yeah.
So,
no, I think
and those are real life conversations and feedback and stuff. And now we're going back and back, and they're like, oh, we're just not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we're not getting anywhere, pause.
Right.
Let's invite the Holy Spirit. Let's say, wait a minute. Okay, Lord, this is getting out of hand.
Right.
We're not seeing eyeball to eyeball. And again, the scripture says, like, let's reason together. Let's come together. And so ultimately the enemy is trying to drive a wedge between you all. And the scripture says to be aware of his devices. So we can recognize that, hey, you know what? This isn't really us. There's something going on here. This is some voodoo. Like let's deal with that and let's just keep moving on.
Right. And that leads right into number 5, which is to seek understanding and empathy.
Okay.
So we're going to do that active listening using our I statements and then seeking to really understand the other person's point of view.
Yeah.
So it's not always about you, about you.
Yeah. I think it's Psalm 34. That's right. Where David says to seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are over the righteous and his ears over to their prayer. Psalm 34. So yeah, the seek peace. So there's some people that feel like they just love to argue. Right.
Some people do love to argue.
Yeah. That's not for me. At least it's not for me. But in our relationship, we need to be seeking peace.
Correct. Unity.
Being
on the same
Oneness
page.
Together. Right.
Having the vision that you're working towards together.
Right. How do we get that? How do we get the vision?
We need to set the vision. Well, you lead and set the vision, and then we discuss it. We agree upon it. You know, we get those details so that we know where we're going, because without a vision, we're just going to be all over the place.
Right.
They're going to be based on our core values.
Right.
So hopefully you establish those during the dating phase to know what you're getting into for marriage.
Right.
But a marriage should be based on core values that you have together. So if you have a core value of something specific, your vision should be walking out those core values, or it should be led by those core values so that you know where you're going as a couple.
Yeah. So sometimes I've seen, not sometimes, a lot of cases I see where they're on two different pages because they don't have a vision, and one person is on a completely different page and the other person, they're not in alignment because no vision has been cast.
Correct.
She's over here buying stuff and he's wanting to save. And because there's been no vision of this is what we're trying to accomplish, or here's where we're going, and here's how we're going to do this.
Right.
And we've got to have vision. We've got to have a plan in order to accomplish what it is we want to accomplish.
And that's a great example, because that situation would be a disagreement, right? That would be a money disagreement of one person, I want to spend and enjoy life. Yep. And the other person is like, we need to save and have stability with our finances.
This is my money. Don't tell me what to do with what I earn. Like I said, I want to have fun with I work hard for my money.
Right. But if you have that vision together, that's going to cut out a lot of disagreements right then and there, because you can just point back to, this is our vision, remember? Like, do we really want to spend $500 every week on eating out when we're trying to, save towards a home or whatever it may be?
Right.
You can point back to, remember, we have this vision, we have this goal. And so that's going to cut out the disagreement, because right then and there, you're both working towards something together. Right. And so there's nothing to disagree about at that point.
Or having a plan, or we had a plan and now we're not sticking to it.
Right. So let's get back to it.
One of the things that we share is pray, plan, and pursue. And so we prayed it, we planned it, but we didn't pursue it. We've deviated from what we set out to do. A great example of that is I've counseled couples and the goal was to own a home, like you just said.
Right.
Okay. Great example. This is real life.
Mm-hmm.
Their goal is to own a home. And step one is to, getting a down payment,
Right.
saving up for that. Before that is credit,
Mm-hmm.
and working on that to get to a particular score.
Mm-hmm.
So their interest rate can be lower. Well, lo and behold, homegirls out there getting $700 headphones.
Exactly. Right.
And also like buying a brand new treadmill for $3,000. It's like where you guys are not moving towards your plan.
Mm-hmm.
You're not pursuing the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got to get back to
Right.
get an alignment. And what would you say to that particular couple where the guy's like, we're trying to do this, and she's like, well, I got a bonus and I really want this Peloton.
Right. That's going to be maybe, like you said, a disagreement, but you have to come back to, are we still working towards a down payment to a house?
Okay.
Is that still our vision? Because
it's mine, but you want this Peloton. So
what do you mean it's yours?
it's my vision.
It's your vision.
Yeah,
I was like, I thought you
plan.
meant your money, and I
No,
was
no,
going
I
to
was
say
like-
it's not your money. But that's another.
It's our plan.
Mhm.
I want to buy a house, next year.
And you're saying the spouse is not having that same plan,
She wants it, but she also wants the Peloton.
right? I think then it's, let's be realistic about this plan and how is it actually going to happen? Because you may buy the Peloton, but you're not going to have a house to put it in if you don't,
Right.
work towards that goal. Is that something that you can maybe hold off for a while and get your bank account to a certain level before you buy the Peloton? Or why do you want it right this second?
Right.
And those are questions that you should be able to have in a conversation and be able to work through that conflict instead of just letting that disagreement be like, bam, it's an argument. Bam, we're not speaking to each other.
Sure.
Bam, our relationship's on the rocks.
Right.
And we're complaining about our relationships up and down, and it's so hard.
And then my girlfriend is saying, girl, you don't let no man tell you
That's right.
this.
Buy the
and-
Peloton if you want it. You really got to be conscious of
Yeah.
what you're letting speak to you, because,
Right.
does it say in the Bible, go talk to your friends about the situation
Right.
and do what you want to do?
Right.
I don't think it says that. I mean,
Right.
I know it doesn't say that.
No.
So where are we basing our vision on? What kind of life do you want to have? You have to have actions to get to that goal.
Yep.
So you have to reassess in that moment.
Yep.
All right, let's keep going. Number 6 is really, at that point, you can offer that constructive feedback. So you can really use those words to talk to the person and then really focus on solutions. So let's not focus on what you did wrong, what mistakes were made, but let's focus on how can we move forward? How can we change? What can we do to make this better?
One of the things that is critical, and I've learned in my study of communication,
Mm-hmm.
and you may be aware of this, especially in the workplace, is don't offer a problem without offering a solution.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to sit here and bash you, first of all, never. But if I'm going to offer you constructive feedback, I also need to bring to you a solution
Okay.
or
Mhm.
a plan,
Right.
right? So if it is, we had the example of my clothes on the floor.
Mhm.
Well, sweetheart, this week I noticed a increase of, your clothes being on the floor, and it created for me an extra load of laundry this week. And so what I'd like to do is, if you could put your pants or whatever in this hamper here,
Right.
that lets me know what I need to do.
Mhm.
And if you could hang the rest of it up, that would create more cleanliness in whatever it is.
Yeah.
And again, that may not come out that way in the moment. Maybe you have to collect your thoughts to form those sentences.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there was the constructive feedback, there was the time, and then there was the solution for what I needed to take place.
And it's also helpful to ask them why. Like, is there, are you super rushed in the morning? So you're kind of like going so fast and just need to throw the clothes to the side. Is there
Right.
something I can do to help you, make that easier? Or is our
Right.
closet not organized well enough that you have an easy, access to the hangers that you can hang them up? Like, is
Right.
there some kind of outside factor that maybe I can actually help be part of the solution too,
Yep.
instead of just putting it all on them.
Real life scenario, and I'm going to get better, is we have a dresser in our closet, and the top dresser holds my athletic gear, and I left it out, and I'm not the cleanest person. And so I have my pants and shirts like start stacking up on the dresser. Of course,
the drawer open.
They need to be hung up. And again, it is a character flaw of me to not do that. And you came and said, hey, whenever this drawer is open, I can't get to the things that I need.
Right.
So if you could, can you help me with remembering to push a drawer in so that I can get to the things that I need? I'm like, oh, okay. And I actually never thought about that.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing intentional.
Right.
So real life scenario.
Yeah, that's right. And then we're on to number 7. So this is kind of wrap it up. We are going to practice our patience and our grace.
Patience and grace. Say it with me. Patience and grace.
Patience and grace.
One more time. Patience and grace.
Right?
Yeah.
So being able to have these conversations, being able to give constructive feedback, that may take a little bit of time to work through to kind of get your groove as a partner, but really you ultimately need to have that grace and patience to your partner.
I think it all boils down to that. Patience and grace. Like all the 6 steps we say, if you don't remember any of them, just remember practice, patience, and grace. PP, practice patience.
That's right. Your partner is always growing. They're always learning. God is always speaking to them. They always say God's working on you.
Okay.
And so you need to let them have, that time to learn and grow, and give them patience and grace.
Yeah, and patience with yourself as well.
That's right. That's important
Allow
too.
yourself patience. Allow yourself grace with your own self. Don't get frustrated with you, because sometimes we have our own expectations, and you can feel like I'm not doing a great job. I'm not perfect enough. It's okay. We're going to get there. We have a whole lifetime to spend together with each other. And so give yourself and your partner the patience and grace to grow and reach the goal that God has for you.
That's right. Those are the 7 steps that you are able to give constructive feedback without conflict to your partner in your relationship.
Love it.
All right. We know that you can do it and you will do it. If you need a resource to kind of help you get started with planning and praying and pursuing that, we do have our relationship planning guide. Go grab that freebie right now. It'll give you that space to just map all that stuff out and actually get it accomplished.
Yeah, go get it. Like right now. Like, what are you waiting for? I don't know what's wrong. Just
if you don't have it yet,
you need to go get it. Like, it's that simple. It's in the show notes. It's in the description. Tap it. 15 seconds later, it's in your computer, tablet, or phone. So get the free Oak Haven planner. We can go through the outline of praying it, planning it, and pursuing what, Terrell? Whatever it is you and your partner are working towards. So they're going to help you attain and reach the goals that God has for you and you have for one another. So we're praying God's blessing over you. We speak the favor and the blessing of the Lord over your life, over your relationship, over your communication. There won't be conflict. And we just speak the peace, the peace that goes over what you can understand, be with you and work through your relationships. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us. We are here for you. We cannot be here without you. And it is a joy to hang out with you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. God bless.